And I appreciate the three of you joining me, taking time out of Friday. Ooh, four. I bet we'll get some more as we continue. My name is Joe Fox. I'm the director of middle and upper school at Barstow. Next year will be year number 13, working in some capacity. I started as a faculty member, then was a college counselor for many years, and then has now been in administration. Next year will be number 6. I was a Barstow student, entered in 1999, graduated in 2004. So I always tack on 5 extra years. When people ask me how long I've been at Barstow, I'm the oldest of 4 foxes to graduate from Barstow. And I'm also a parent now. And I have 3 children, a 3rd grader, a 1st grader, and a pre-K student that all go to Barstow. You are here because we're going to talk middle school scheduling. And I want this to be as interactive as possible. I have the chat open. Feel free to chat any questions as we get going that you have. I'm happy to read them to the group and answer them. I muted everybody on the way into the meeting, but you can certainly unmute yourselves. If you want to throw out a question, please do. So I want this to be as helpful as it possibly can be. I know one of the questions I get a lot is from new students in particular is, am I going to be the only new student? And the answer is this year is certainly no. We've seen some great growth at the middle school area. So to give you an idea, I have a list here of new 6th through 12th grade students. It's pretty small. You can see the number of people on there. And we've added probably 5 or 6 students since I printed this list 2 or 3 days ago, and we'll continue to add students. But we have 18 new 6th graders joining us so far, 7 new 7th graders, and 5 new 8th graders. So there's going to be a really nice group of new students coming into Barstow. So your middle school student hopefully feels like they're not the only ones, which I know can be a difficult entry point. So and new students on campus is always an exciting time for our existing students to see new people and make new friends. I'm going to share my screen, and I have just a couple slides that I want to show you this morning. Let's first talk about the agenda, what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you the daily schedule, what a day looks like in middle school. We're then going to talk about the courses that are taken in grades 6 through 8. And then at the middle school level, it's pretty simple, but we do need just a few items for you to fill out for us to be able to complete your course schedule. And certainly I want to take time at the end to answer any questions. We'll probably go through 20 minutes or so of information. And hopefully you'll have everything you need. I have my contact information there. I am recording this and we'll send out the recording, but I'm also going to send out an email with the recording and with all the resources and with this contact information afterwards. So you don't need to take notes or anything like that. You'll get everything in an email, hopefully later this afternoon, if the recording can process fast enough. David Kramer, important name, especially as you get older in middle and upper school. David has the job of creating all student schedules, really for the whole school, but in particular grades 6 through 12. Scheduling at Barstow is a continual process. So he is completing the schedule right now. He will finish he'll finish late July, early August, and then we post the schedule electronically on My Barstow, and then changes begin, and the changes are numerous and they come in fast and furious, and he processes changes for the first month of school, it seems like, consistently, and then things settle down. But we always want a student, appropriately challenged here at Barstow. If the courses or the number of courses or the rigor of the courses is too light, we want to make it more rigorous. And if it's too rigorous, we want to find ways to make it more manageable for students. The other name I have down there is Corey Gallagher. He's the assistant director of middle and upper school. He's been here. This is going to be, I think, his 3rd year. His role is really academic based. So it's a name I want you to know. He runs our Student Success Center, which we opened last year, really in a response to COVID, and trying to make sure students academically were seeing success, especially transitioning to a new school. And Corey is also the first point of contact from the academic perspective. Should something occur academically, we'll have students that maybe miss time. Maybe it's COVID, maybe it's pneumonia. And so David just joined us. Corey is the first point of contact from the standpoint of getting a student caught up, or if you see your student struggling academically, you want to let Corey know, because he's going to facilitate assistance from faculty members. David, good morning. How are you? I already kind of gave you a quick introduction, but if you want to just let us know how long you've been at Barstow and anything else you want to add.
Hey, everybody. Nice for you. Nice to see everybody, or be in the meeting with you at least. Let's see. Started my 18th year at Barstow. I am the director of academics. I teach mathematics. I'm the head of the math department in the upper and middle school. As director of academics, a big part of my job is to do student scheduling. And so I thought I would just drop by today, say hi, so you can see what I look like. Joe's running the meeting, but I'm here if you have any questions.
So the first thing I want to talk about today is, what does the middle school schedule look like? I'll make this slide a little bit bigger. Hopefully on your screen, you can see the schedule here. We run an 8-period day here at Barstow. So students will have 8 periods. On Monday, which you can see here on the left-hand side, all 8 periods meet, and they meet for about 40 minutes. And then Tuesday through Friday, we go more to a block schedule, and 4 out of the 8 periods are meeting. There's rotation in the schedule. There's rotation in the schedule because when I was a student, there was no rotation. And if you were an athlete or a debater or a robotic participant, you would consistently miss the same classes normally at the end of the day because you were leaving early for competitions and games and things like that. So we have rotation in the schedule. So if a student is missing things because of mainly the Barstow activities they're involved in, they're not consistently missing the same class daily. So Tuesday through Friday, we have 80-minute classes. You'll notice that there's right now, this is the schedule from last year, there's a 10-minute break between classes. We're actually elongating that to 20 minutes, and we'll have the new schedule for the next year coming out here probably within the next week or so. That is because we're opening the Idea Space down the street, our new STEAM center. If you haven't been able to check that out, you should definitely get over there and see it. Phenomenal facility. We will house all of our STEAM courses there. We'll have all the 6th graders at some point taking a course over there, and I'll talk more about that in a second. And then we're offering 3 middle school electives over there next year: middle school coding, middle school robotics, and middle school makers. And so if you sign up for one of those courses, you would be transported down by bus to the Idea Space when you have class. So this is kind of a look at the schedule. Other than making the breaks in between classes a little bit longer so students can transport relatively stress-free back and forth. At the middle school level, we're actually considering switching the lunchtime a little bit later and putting an advisory period before lunch to just give a little bit more structure and a daily advisory time. For middle school students, what is advisory? Small group, get with 1 faculty member and 1 consistent group of students, talking about study skills, talking about the life of the school, what's going on, check-ins, just trying to create a system where you have a trusted adult as a student that you can go to as a first line of communication should something occur that you just want to talk about with somebody, or you're struggling academically or socially, and for new students, that person can be really helpful in making an initial connection. So that's the daily schedule. Let me put up the course of study that we take in middle school. What does that look like? What courses are we taking? And I'll zoom out so we can see a little bit here. Pretty prescribed in middle school. Now, there's not a ton of decisions that need to be made from the course selection perspective. You can see, and our core classes are pretty consistent. 6th through 8th grade, every student's taking an English course, a math course, science, geography, or history. I think we do Western Hemisphere, grade 6, Eastern Hemisphere, grade 7, and then we do United States history, grade 8. World language, we offer 3 languages. We offer Spanish, French, and Chinese. That's one of the selections that your child gets to make, and we'll have a form where they can indicate that, especially if you're an incoming 6th grade student. And then students normally in world language will just track in their grade level in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So they take 6th grade Spanish, 7th grade Spanish, 8th grade Spanish, and that puts them on track to matriculate into the 2nd level in 9th grade. They're going, rather than Spanish 1, most of our students are going into Spanish 2. Let's talk about 6th. So that's consistent, 6th through 8th grade. Let's talk about the 6th grade courses specifically. You see course number 6 is the 6th grade experience. This is the 2nd year we're going to offer that class. I think it was pretty successful last year. We take the 6th graders, they're broken into 4 groups. Normally, all students are broken into 4 groups. We have kind of 4 sections of English, 4 sections of math, 4 sections of science. So the 4 sections of the 6th grade experience, 4 varied subject matters, 4 different teachers, and the 4 groups of students. And each quarter, they rotate and get to experience something new in the elective area. So we have music, we have performing art. Those are two distinct options that students will be taking. We have STEAM as the third component. That would be the segment for a quarter where students will be traveling over to IdeaSpace to take STEAM coursework. And the fourth component of the sixth grade experience is counseling and technology skills and study skills, kind of all wrapped into one. So every quarter, your sixth grader will get just a little taste of these varied areas. So music, performance art, and sometimes those courses will kind of be will be combined. But those music, performance art, STEAM, and then technology, counseling, and study skills all wrapped up into one. And then a seventh course for sixth graders is Writer's Workshop. That's basically applied writing. Students are gonna be writing poetry, research writing, persuasive writing, fictional writing, creative writing. They're going to be doing grammar studies, the stuff that everybody loves to do, circle the nouns and underline the adverbs, things like that, learning vocabulary. One of the things I think we do here at Barstow very well is teaching writing in all areas, but this Writer's Workshop class allows us to focus even more attention on teaching students and how to write. And then the eighth course is a semester of PE, opposite a semester of art. So sixth graders, as you go through, there's really not many choices to make other than the world language that your student would like to take in sixth grade. Can they switch later? Yes, but normally that would occur in eighth grade. So we really want a student to take the same language in sixth and seventh. And then in eighth grade, there is some flexibility to switch into the first level of a different language. Anything you want to add to that, David?
Not right now, but later on, I can speak to how we're going to work on getting the right language and the right math for all our new students.
Oh, great. No, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'll touch on that here in a second. Seventh grade and eighth grade, fairly similar, as you can see, a very similar schedule. We have the core courses that remain consistent. We have a semester of PE, opposite a semester of Writer's Workshop. So one semester you're in PE, one semester you'll be in Writer's Workshop. And then we have 2 elective hours. And that's where students really start to make choices about what they want to take. And so we have those 2 elective hours. And what we're going to need from you as families is your preferences on what electives you want to enroll in. So I'm going to, in my email, send out our middle school elective selection form that our returning students went through this spring. But you'll be able to see all of the electives that we offer, and they should be on the screen now. Everything from art courses, music courses, BTVN, speech and debate, very popular. I mentioned some of our STEAM electives that are taking place at the IdeaSpace. So these are the options. These are the choices to choose from. There are going to be short descriptions on each course, and then David has the fun job of going through those rank preferences, and he builds your schedule based on the choices that you give him. I think David asked for 8 choices to give him some room in making everyone's schedule work. I do want to mention a few things in terms of the overall scheduling. Study hall for 7th and 8th grade students is an option as an elective in 7th and 8th grade. So our students in 7th and 8th are taking 7 courses or 8 courses. Last year, we allowed students to take 2 study halls if they wanted. We found that was quite a bit of unstructured time for some of our middle school students, not unstructured from the standpoint of, there's nowhere to go, but it's a lot of work time. And so can students still take 2 study halls? Yes, but they need to have a conversation with myself or Corey first and give us the circumstances with which they want to, try to take 2 study halls. So we recommend 1 if a student chooses to have a study hall. Many of our students don't have a study hall. They want to take as many electives as possible, and that's perfectly fine as well. Let's talk about math a little bit. I'm glad David brought that up. Okay, so all of our 6th graders take a course called 6th grade math. It's called the same thing, but we actually have 2 sections that move a little bit faster and cover the material with a little bit more depth. So, for lack of a better term, 2 of the classes are a little bit more advanced than the others. We have conversations with families, particularly new Barstow families, to just make that known and just kind of see, the family's thoughts on math as a strength for their child, and which section would be a good fit. Which is at the end of the day is what we want. We want a good fit, and we do switch students between the 2 classes. A lot of times our teachers will say within the first few weeks, boy, I've been working with Jimmy and I'm really impressed with what I see. I really think we need to move him to the other 6th grade math course, or vice versa. I've been working with Jimmy and I'm a little concerned with what I see. Maybe we should move him back down. And then we have a conversation with parents to see what they would like to do. 7th grade, so that's 6th grade math. 7th grade is the first time we really differentiate with 2 different class titles, and the students are obviously in different classrooms. So in 7th grade, about half of our students are going into Algebra 1, and the other half of our students are taking pre-algebra. And then that's tracking to 8th grade, where half of our students are then in geometry, or half of our students are in Algebra 1. And so that's just something to consider as we are talking about placement. It's not necessarily a choice that you need to tell us about. As a new student, we'll look at your report cards from the school that you're coming from. David will be emailing all new Barstow Middle School families anyway to say, hey, I'm looking at your report card and I see, this on the report card. My plan is to put you here and here in terms of a world language or in terms of a math level. Do you agree? Do we need to have further conversations? David, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, you can all expect, it might not be right away, but y'all can expect an email here in the next couple of weeks from me where I give you my best advice on math and language. It may be that there's not an obvious, this is absolutely the right choice. It might be that we just have a conversation about we try something. It may be that the language doesn't match up exactly right. Like say you've got an incoming 7th grader, new 7th grader, and they haven't taken a language yet. That's kind of an odd situation, because our 7th graders have already had 6th grade, a 6th grade course in language, and we don't really have the option to start brand new in the first level of language to 8th grade. So 7th graders, there's some flexibility. You don't need to worry. Your kid's going to be okay either way. We've done this for a long time. And we're just going to have this conversation back and forth in email where we get everything right. On occasion, there may be a family, a student who they really like mathematics, are really good at it, and maybe they want to kind of get untracked, and rather than taking algebra or pre-algebra in 7th grade, they show that they're ready for geometry. We can do that. Something which I neglected to mention, and I know I'm kind of tooting my own horn, this is my 16th year of doing scheduling at Barstow School. So I've got an abundance of experience of working with middle school and upper school scheduling. Whatever we need to do, whether it be building a schedule that's maybe a little atypical during the summer, or changing a schedule throughout the year, or what have you, we can do it. So in addition to the Google form, which Joe's about to talk about for the elective request, we will have a back and forth. Some of our emails will be very easy, like obviously algebra, obviously 7th grade Spanish. Everybody sees it, everybody agrees, get on with their lives. That'll be the majority of the emails, something like that. It's really more rare where we have to kind of massage the schedule a little bit to accommodate a new student. We haven't broken the student yet, so I think we'll be okay.
David brings up a good point, and believe me, we appreciate all of his work because it's a difficult process, and I hate puzzles personally. So I love the fact that he's a puzzler, and that's what putting the schedule together is really about. Unlike other schools that maybe you've been, familiar with, scheduling is always occurring. We are always making changes, and the communication loop is open. It's not, I've seen a lot of interactions where parents, especially new to Barstow, they'll just assume that no changes can be made to the schedule. That's not accurate. We make changes all the time, especially like with elective selection, 7th and 8th grade with the math selection, things like that I mentioned. Maybe a student wants to sign up for Chinese, and within the first 2 weeks, they're like, oh, this is not what I expected. Well, let us know about it. Don't just assume that when the schedule is completed, the schedule is completed, and there's nothing we can do. Because especially as you get older into upper school, and students have more and more flexibility in scheduling, David is processing changes, consistently. So just kind of to recap, hopefully this has been helpful. We're nearing the end of the information we have for you. Fire away with any questions you have in the chat, or just unmute yourself and ask them if you'd like to. But for new 6th graders, it's a very short and sweet Google form that I will send out after this meeting. That's just going to ask for your world language selection. I believe it asks for your first preference and your second preference. Most of our students are getting their first choice with that form, but we do like to have a backup just in case. And then So that's all that's needed for grade 6. If your student's new in grade 7 or 8, you're going to get a Google form from me as well that is going to ask you to rank preference the elective options that sound most appealing to your child. And I'm also going to link this document so you can look at all the options with your student, go over them, and then rank preference them later. So and then fill out the form. So that's really what is needed for grade 7 and 8 is that elective form. David mentioned that he will be sending out correspondence about math level and language level, especially for grade 7 and 8. And the other thing to just make sure the school has in its possession are accurate records and report cards from whichever school you're coming from, because a lot of times new students in particular, they apply in December or January or the springtime, and as a result we don't have a completed report card or transcript, and so we just want to make sure we have as completed records as possible to give David the most information at hand to get scheduling completed. All right, so hopefully helpful, hopefully fairly simple from the middle school perspective in terms of what's needed and what the schedule looks like. Fairly quiet group here. I haven't gotten any chat messages yet, which is a bit surprising, but please, this is just the start of the process. If I can stress anything, it's not like we have a 25-minute Zoom call and then you don't get to hear from David or I again. And if you have a question, this is your only opportunity to ask it. That's certainly not the case. If you have questions, you know where to find us. You'll have our email address. You can email us at any time, and we will make sure you get everything answered. So if you do have questions, feel free to email me or David, and look for that email from me coming this afternoon with this recording and all of the resources and forms needed to complete everything that's needed for this process. All right, so very much appreciate everybody's time, especially on a Friday morning to join us. Have a great weekend. Oh, I just got a chat in here. It is about unclear on the math issue. When is the decision made about which class 6th graders take? Great question. So 6th grade math, if you are a returning Barstow student in 5th grade, the 5th grade math teacher actually they recommend, that's the word I'm looking for, they recommend a math class, either the more advanced 6th grade math class or the regular 6th grade math class for your child to be in. Obviously, not having, our 5th grade math teacher is not making a recommendation for us because we don't know your child. So then it becomes up to David and you all and myself to just have a discussion as to which level of math, the advanced or regular, you feel is best for your child. And so we'll have that conversation sometimes via email. But David will look at the report card. If the student has all A's and we email back and forth and your child loves mathematics and has always excelled in mathematics, great, they're probably going to be in the advanced math class. If their grades have been a little bit lower, there's some apprehension, math isn't really my strongest subject, well, then we probably recommend that your student tries the regular 6th grade math section. I should make clear that I see movement every year. Whether you go into the advanced 6th grade math course or whether you go into the advanced 6th grade math course, I see movement both ways in 7th grade when we go to algebra or pre-algebra. So I see students from the regular 6th grade math course go right into algebra. They do great. And I see students that are put into the advanced 6th grade math course that we actually recommend that they do pre-algebra and not go into algebra 1. And that's the right fit for them as well. So hopefully that provides a little bit of more information about the math decision. Another chat coming in. What will be the timing and process for electives next year? So really, we do upper school course selection when we return from winter break in January. The new semester starts. That's when we begin the process of updating the upper school course catalog. And then we share that with the community and students kind of during spring break in March. That's when they are making decisions about the upper school courses that they want to take. While they're making those decisions in March, that's when we are updating the middle school elective options. And we normally get that document out to our students in 6th and 7th grade. We get it out, I would say, in April. And then we ask for it back about 2 or 3 weeks later. And so the process is normally completed and we want everything that we can get before the end of the school year, certainly, so that David can, over the summer, he gets to have all the information hopefully right in front of him, and he isn't trying to track parents down, track families down over the summer. One, because we have a lot of new families and he's coordinating with them. And so the more information he can have by the time the school year ends makes his scheduling job a little bit easier. So hopefully.
Yeah, if you're new to Barstow, the elective requests for middle school, they are not due for anyone new to Barstow anytime soon. I won't be scheduling middle school electives until probably till mid-July. So we'll get the forms out to you. You'll have a couple of weeks at least a couple of weeks to kick that form around, talk about electives, see how you want to line up your 8 requests. And certainly if you have any questions about the form, about what the electives look like, anything at all, you'll have time and space to process all of it.
Great. I appreciate you mentioning that, David. I don't want anybody to feel rushed, especially a lot of new families, especially at the upper school level, when we have these meetings, feel like they don't want to miss anything, which I completely understand. But believe me, you have not missed anything. This is a perfect time to get everything out, make selections, and you'll be right along with everybody else when David goes through this process. 6th grade language selection. Can the student pick a new language with no experience, or should they have any basics about the language? Great question. Perfect opportunity to try a new language is the blunt answer. These courses in 6th grade are designed for no prior experience with students that are coming in fresh. Our students here at Barstow do like 1 day a week or maybe 2 days a week in lower school. They do have some Chinese and they do have some Spanish, but it's not regular. It's once or twice a week. And so that 6th grade course is completely introductory and a great opportunity to try something new. And we suggest that you do. So you'll have a selection in 6th grade. Hopefully you really enjoy it and you continue it all the way through your experience, because we know, especially as the college counselor in me, we want that one language taken as far as possible, hopefully to the AP level, because that's going to show well in the college application process when a student applies down the road. But if it doesn't go, that way, a student can look to switch in 8th grade. They can look to switch again in 9th grade. And then we'll have some students in upper school. We want a student to choose a language and we want a 2-year commitment in that language. But then we'll have students maybe in 11th grade that will want to try something new as well. We also have flexibility in the schedule. I've had students before that have gotten to the advanced levels in 2 languages or all 3 languages in upper school if they really have a knack for it and are planning to pursue linguistics at the collegiate level. So we try to provide that freedom for students if it's possible. Question: will the new students have their schedule in plenty of time to find their classrooms and walk their schedule before the first day of school? Yes. So we David aims to have the schedule completed kind of early August. We send it out about, 10 to 14 days before school starts. There's a book list. Is that right, David? I don't want to.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Okay.
My target date is to turn it over to our website manager before the 2-week mark. So the website manager, it's a big process. The data import, the scheduling I do is not native to our website. It's done on a separate software package. I won't bore you with the details, but there's a data shift from when I get those scheduling to import it all. However, we've been rock solid good on having schedules up online. I think 10 days is the shortest it's been in my memory. Usually it's
we have
further out than that.
Well, and we try to get it out in that time frame because we have a collegiate model when it comes to book shopping and book supplies for classes. So we basically publish a list of the courses that we offer in all classes in grades 6 through 12. And then families are able to purchase those resources in any way they see fit. Some families want just all electronic textbooks. Some want, used paperback books. Some want ebooks. Some want hard copy books. I've had some students that want a copy at home and a copy they can bring to school. And so we try to get that list updated by mid-July And then the schedule comes out in early August. So families can be working on getting all the resources that they need. And we're going to talk more about this specifically in our in-person meetings that occur in late July and then early August, in that long email that I sent out about, meetings occurring for new students. And then also the Tuesday before school starts. So school starts on Thursday, August, is it up? It's not up on my wall yet, but it's like the 18th or something like that. And the Tuesday before that date, we have our registration day. And that's where we invite all students 6 through 12. We'll have an all 6th grade meeting. We'll have an all 9th grade meeting. We'll have a meeting for every new student. So we'll have a 7th and 8th grade new Barstow meeting, and you will meet faculty members, and you will be able to walk through the building with your schedule and see where your classrooms are, and meet the teachers that are teaching those classes, and meet new classmates, and meet other new students like yourselves. We also do school photos on that day as well. So it's a nice packed 3-hour time frame where a lot gets done. You get to meet a lot of people, you get a lot of information, and hopefully it also calms some nerves about what you're walking into on the first day of school, because everything will hopefully be a bit more familiar. So some really good questions coming in on the chat. We appreciate that. Yes.
Real quick, I think it's important to note, y'all don't have to wait to get your schedules to buy your books. Right? All the schedule is going to tell you is when your classes meet. The vast majority of the classes that you need books for, if not the entirety of classes that you need your books for, you'll know what they are already. So you don't need to wait until the schedule is posted online. I don't think any of our electives use textbooks. If they do, it did blow my mind. I don't think they do. So as long as you know which math course, which language course, and that'll be communicated in the email, you don't really have any choice in any of the other core classes, English, history, like you'll have all that information. The book list will be out in plenty of time. So I know some families rightfully get a little stressed of, hey, are my books going to arrive in time? I need to go shopping. If I wait too long, all the good books be taken. That's true. And thing is, we don't have to stress about it because you can buy your books before you get your schedule. All right.
Yeah, thanks, David. And that book list will be out prior to schedules. I do like to suggest that parents wait until that new book list is released, because faculty, especially with like an English course, might make changes to the books that they want to read. And I hate when families purchase something that they end up not needing. So look for that book list like in the early mid-July, like July 10th to the 14th timeframe, somewhere in there, where we would get it out to the community. So again, appreciate everybody's time. Some great questions that came in a little bit late there. We're here. We work all summer. I'm headed to Ireland next week, but I still bring my computer with me. I still have access to email, and I work all the time. It's probably a bad habit that I have. So should you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. David works all summer as well doing the scheduling, so you'll be hearing from him. And hopefully this afternoon, you'll get everything that you need from me in terms of this email with the recording and the links and the forms. And I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on a Friday.